Yo, I want people you don't know. Alright, so look, no long talking, you don't know. Today we're going to talk about best the best times or the best areas to look for shorts. Right? Now, before we jump into this thing, the reason why I'm talking about this is because shorts is very important. Me personally, I learned how to long. Maybe something about the big green candles, right? But I like to long, and I believe most people like to long. Some people love to short more than them like to long. But me personally, when I look at my wins and losses, like for example, I can go the whole week without losing, right? But when I lose, um when I look at the stats of the losses, because this is, you learn from the losses, you don't learn from the wins. You learn from the losses because some people take some losses and them it's like some them take some losses that wipe out them account, and then pay attention to the losses, and it teach them, you need to trade with a fucking stop loss. Excuse my language, right? Um, so when I just over my statistics, which I tell everybody in the Patreon, look at the statistics for the week and pay attention to the losses. My losses came from shorts, the majority. All right. With that being said, let's talk about the shorts. Now, if you look at the map, you'll notice that the short occurs when something is taken. Cause and effect, universal law. And what I mean is, these highs got taken, right? These highs got taken, and you see the big short, boom, right? The next high got taken, boom, big short, bam, right? Um, this high got taken, and you get a little short. Excuse me, tired. Saturday night, Saturday morning, 1 o'clock. All right, so look, you take this short here. I mean, you take this high here, you get a little short, right? No, you say, yeah, it's a small short, but shit, there's no other shorts happening here than this one, right? And it's just all depends on what the larger structure is doing. You see what the larger structure is doing, the larger structure is going up. So, eventually, this is going to create a zone, right? And on the way back down, which you can see right here, it's on the way back down here. You see, matter of fact, this is the new zone. This is the larger zone actually, because this low, right? This is the larger zone. And look, something was taken. You see, this low was taken into a zone, and then it started reversing in the bullish direction. So what I'm saying is, wait until something is taken, look for a zone next to it, and that's, you'll get the most shorts. You'll get the best chances to short. Right? No, I'm not saying you must hold this shit forever, but if you're weak in shorts like I am, you would just use this as a rule of thumb. I will not short until something is taken. So, like for example, let's say you're not good enough to realize that this was taken and you missed this short here. Fine. Right? That's for advanced, people who can look at that part of the time frame. Look at the, what I'm saying? Look at the small time frames and make decisions off of the smaller time frames. But if you like not comfortable with it, just use the larger time frames like this. Just wait. You wait till this get taken, and then you can hold a short for a longer period of time. You wait longer, but you get more money. Right? No, this is all time frame specific, right? Um, the if you'll pay attention to the highs and the lows that got taken, and then the short occurred. This high, it was not necessarily a structural high, because normally when your high get taken, you expect the according to the time frame, the market structure, it go down, up, right? This high got taken, but you still like go up. You know what I mean? And then inside here now, on the lower time frame, you have many highs and lows. Some of us might think that this since this they're like there's a high in here, some of us would think that, oh, because the high in here got taken, yeah, it's supposed to go up and then it crushed down on us. These are the highs that we're looking for, right? And this is what I tell you, if you know that this is a shorting situation, then if there's a zone here, you know what I'm saying, to go long, let's say there's a zone down here to go long, you wouldn't take it because you know that this is a shorting situation. You wouldn't take this zone. Normally, you would take the zone on the higher time frame. But because you don't know that when this occur, a more likely a short is going to happen, it affects your win rate in longs also. You dig? All right. Let's look at the chart. Those in the Patreon will get like when we do live, not live, but when we do candle by candle back testing, developmental back testing, then you will see right now we're doing hindsight back testing, which is the starting point. So there's no shame in the game if you're doing hindsight shit. This is how you learn, as a matter of fact. All right, let's look for the shorts and let's look when the shorts occur on the lower time frame. Right? Teaching y'all some powerful information here. All right, so you have the structure in here, right? This is the main structure. And inside of here, you have highs and lows that does not belong to the main structure. So what I'm saying is this high got taken and we still went below the high because this high is not a part of structure. So if you're looking to short, and I'm trying to explain, when I mean not a part of structure, it did not put in a significant low, right? So for example, this, and when a significant low is a low that is a candle low, right? This is all DTFX stuff I'm teaching you. This here is a proper low. So a proper low puts in a proper high, or a proper high when the high put in the low, right? That makes it a protected high. It's a strong high. Any highs that are inside of this that didn't cause a break, these highs are bullshit. So what price tend to do is price tend to reverse and clip them out and then drop, right? That is what part of structure mean, right? It don't make nobody tell you some fancy shit. That's all that it is. No, it can not be a part of structure on the lower time frame, but it is a part of structure on the higher time frame. If you look here, this high got taken, which didn't really put in a low on the lower time frame. I mean, on the higher time frame, but they put in a low on the lower time frame. And considering the fact that these are 4-hour candles, then you still get a massive boost of shorts, because this is going down a good part of, well, not good. Let me see. Let's say this is probably going on for a full hour and a half, right? So I mean, if you in this trade for an hour and a half, you just a lot of fucking money. Just excuse my French, right? But it's a pretty good move. You know, if you're less confident, you wait until all these other highs get killed, right? Let's continue. Let's open up. This high caused the structural break, right? So we know that this high is a high that is powerful on a higher time frame, especially when you see the wick coming down. This is the zone most of on the higher time frame, right? So we see where this get broken, right? But inside here, the highs inside of here are not are highs that get broken, get tend to get taken. And if you look, this high got taken, yes, but it gave you a small short here, very small short. But this high here, which is at the top of the range, gave you the longest short, or the high that's closest to the zone, right? So when you're waiting, if you don't really truly understand, oh man, this is part of structure, this is not part of structure, look for the high that is closest to the zone, or the high that's closest to the wick on the higher time frame. Moving on. So we get this high here, and we get this low here. No. This high put in the low, so this is a protected high. Now this is when structure change. So you run this protected high here, right? You run the protected high here. No, you get the pullback, but the pullback it changes structure because you run the protected high, right? These highs were not a part of structure, so yeah, when we were in the downtrend, you know what I'm saying? We had more zones to choose from, pick and choose from. Now that we in the higher time frame trend, because we run the protected high, we have to change our approach. Well, not necessarily change our approach, but we have to know when not to short. Because look here, this high got taken, right? And there was no opportunity to short whatsoever, right? There was none, absolutely none, right? And because the higher time frame take over, because you run the higher time frame, you have to wait until the higher time frame high, the full higher time frame high, is obliterated. So if let's say this part wasn't developed here, let's say you didn't know what the hell this was. Let's say we weren't in hindsight, right? Let's say all of this shit was, we didn't know. If the fact that we ran this high, right, you would know that, okay, there's a zone in here. No, and don't fuck around with the shorts. Look for longs, right? That's using structure. But same rule apply, just on different time frames, right? Because we're dealing with a higher time frame now. You wait till the structural high get taken, and then you see this wick here. Where is the wick? The zone, the zone. Because we're dealing with a higher time frame, we're not even know wicks, right? The zone, which you run the wick to, okay, which you can say, all right, this is the only time you're gonna get the short. It create another, it give you another push up. And don't feel sad. Oh man, like yo, it didn't go. Like just because it break, don't expect it to go to heaven. Because look, relative to this high and this high, it didn't really break. Nothing on the higher time frame. It break here, which it's strong enough to give you something, but it break on a lower time frame. So I know I'm talking about shorts, but you see how this increase your understanding. Right now, we just flowing, y'all. We just flowing. So if you want me, I'm gonna just continue flowing. Let's look for some shorts. So let's say we're in this range here. Run the structural line, and the range occurs. Every time you run a structural high, you get a range. I did this in another lesson. Lower time frame, look, you run the lower time frame, you get a range. You run the higher time frame, you get a higher time frame range, which is a longer range, a more sturdy range. And if even inside the range, the rule apply. So this is the high, and then you got your little highs and lows here. You wait until this high get taken, and you get a huge drop. Remember, these are 4-hour candles. This drop is what? This drop is a good part of 2 hours here, and it stayed down here because this is where it closed, right? So what this means is that candle run all these highs and drop. Then it, dropped, and then it trade up. But yeah, and then it created a zone, right? So now when you're inside the zone now, right? 50% of the zone, this you get the drop. Sometimes it drops so fast that you don't even need something to get taken. Cause look how strong this zone is. Yes, you can say, well, this got taken, so you would consider this as the zone to get taken because it didn't put in, not the zone, the high, because it didn't really put in a new low. You could say that, but right here, you see this high get taken because this is the low here, right? So this high didn't really take anybody out. So price will come back and kill this high here structurally. And then this in here is a wick. I don't know if I show you what a wick is, but like if can we do this? Let me change this color to the odd color. If we do this on the daily, hope I don't lose a spot. No, I didn't. All right, look. Damn, can I go higher than a day? Let me see. Weekly. Yeah. Yeah. This is a week. You see? It's just a week. Yeah. No, yeah, see the week here. This would be the zone. This is the week. The week. Every time the weeks on the higher time frame. See, this are zones. Just remember that. Alright, let's go to the hour. Smaller time frame. Yeah. Let's go on this. Let me go back on the 4 hour. Was vibing on the 4 hour. But the same principle applies. Right? Same principle applies. You shoot down. Once again, you run the higher time frame high, so you following that structure, so you can expect a decent high, but you're gonna have to just wait for it. But if you like, fuck man, I ain't really trying to wait, trying to make some money. No. You would know that this high gonna get taken. But let's go on the lower time frame, because this is where most of us are, right? Because this is where most of us are in the day, who trade the 1 minute and the 15 minute or whatever. So we have this high didn't really do nothing. this high didn't really do nothing. Like nothing, no high was so you know that these highs are gonna get killed, right? If you see all these wicks down and no solid structure, then they ain't strong. But their sacrifice provided us with a reaction from this zone here. You see, 50%. Yeah, nice little drop. And again, this high is not a part of structure because it's not a part of this structure, right? This high didn't do nothing. This high didn't break no. As a matter of fact, this high is not even a part of this structure, right? So this high ain't shit. When you approach it the second time, right? You approach it the first time, you get a nice little reaction, right? So I'm saying after you get your trade, zoom out and look and see what's going on. Zoom out and look and see what's going on, right? Because if it was a part of structure and it was on a downtrend, ooh, money. All right. I think I bring that down, but I want to show. Let's look at it on a lower time frame. Let's assume that we don't know what the hell this is. So let's go on the fifth. Let's go to the. Let's go to the hourly. And let's look for shorts on the hourly. All right. Let me just pick a random spot. Fuck it. You saw it. Look, you saw it. You saw it harder. But just follow the principles, right? Just follow the principles. All right. So we see this and this. Yeah, we know this is structure. This is a large structure, right? So we know that. All right. The structure large, but it ain't the structure. Cause look, it's just a little. Look, you see, these structure is the bigger boys. Man, what the fuck going on over there? Them people over next, they always building shit. Congratulations to them. They always building some furniture shit. You know what I mean? They be up later than me. Alright, so this is a part of structure. This is a smaller structure. No, that's too big. Yeah, we know that this is, compared to all this shit, is not. So it'll eventually trade higher. But we don't care. Well, we not downtrend, so that's good. That's good. It's good that we not downtrend. But we're not waiting that long. So this is a part of structure. Let's just focus on this structure here. And we know that this high put in a smaller structural load, so did this high. So these guys get taken. So normally, oh shit, what happened is this high get taken, right? And then it trade up into the larger structural high. Right, so just look for two structural highs. Just look for this structural high, which is a lower time frame structural high, and wait until you see something above it. Don't just, you get the little short, but you get the more potent shorts here, right? And then if you look, you have a little zone here, right? Don't trust it. It look like sorry, not that zone. This zone here. You get the little zone here. Don't trust it. Use the higher time frame zone, right? Cause sometimes it looking to kill two highs, not just one. Right? You break the higher time frame high. right? You break the higher time frame high, this one, trade down, and then this zone is so strong that I'll pay attention to the size of the zone too, because sometimes if the zone is a very long zone, um, you gotta wait till it get to the 50%, so you gotta wait a longer time, right? No, why am I on a 1 hour? It's the same way you would approach. Excuse me. It's the same way you'd approach the 1 hour. You'd approach the 15 minute. This is a very extensive lesson, but man, I feel like teaching tonight. All right. Cause this is a discovery for me too, man. I'm hella excited over this, man. Win rate gone up and all kind of shit. Let's look for some shorts. What we said when it run, we can get a nice structure here like this. Even though it's small on the time frame we're on, it's very good. So if you notice that this is a higher structure compared to this structure, right? Because it swallow it up. Any way you want to take it. Just look at the bigger highs, the bigger lows. So you see the zone. You wait until the lower time frame is killed, then you take your short. Yeah, we don't want to wait that long. So we look here. This is a large swing down here. Alright. Now, those of you who like to long, like myself, we know that this and this and this and this results in this getting taken, these getting taken, right? And then, so we can know, all right, we can long up to here, and then this is the target for the long, which becomes the beginning of the short, and the zone next to it, you get the shot, right? You get the short. Bam. Right? So write this shit down, man. The longer shorts, the higher the time frame you get clipped. Let's stay on the lower time frame. Let's look for another one on the lower time frame. Look here. This, that, the high and low, that's not a part of structure. The smaller time frame, right? High and low, which it's this. If you run 1 minute, it would be this high that did not put in a new low. It didn't break this low. Even though, because this one did it, right? That's the high you want to wait till it get taken. And then the zone. Alright. There's going to be a zone in here. Trust me. Because, excuse me. You see these wicks here. You see this wick here. Bang. You know. Some shit like that. You know that this powerful rejection happened. You know. Right. Somewhere in here. Possibly here. Or where the it's maybe so strong because it's weak. Sometimes when the wick is strong, my fault guys, when the wick is strong, it don't even have to touch it when the zone is that strong. Right? And then we reassess, we zoom out, see what's going on, realize that even this high here is weak too. So eventually it's gonna collapse to this high, drop down, right? Because this is a larger structure within the structure within the structure. Yo, once it clicked, man, it clicked. This here, the higher high, just give the highs a chance to be bullies. That's all you gotta do. Give the highs a chance to be bullies. To get bullied. To be the bully and get the bully at the same time. I'm tired of this. You know what? Alright. Let's look for some more examples, and then we'll call it in. All right, so you see the swing here. Is this a swing? Damn, not really. Maybe on a higher time frame here, but then you have some lower time frame swings in here, which you expect to get taken. But because this is so weak, like damn, you get our low, but it's not nothing. It's not nothing to be really proud of. Like, yeah, you got this, and it's not nothing to be proud of. So you look for a higher time frame swing to work inside. So this one here, it never even touched it because we're not downtrend too, so that helps. The high, when you're not downtrend, man, should just be falling. But the rules still apply. Right? Why are we not downtrend? Well, yeah, because we run this big higher time frame high. So, expect a good fall. But the rules still apply, man. Run them boy out of town. Alright, guys. Forward test this. Hindsight test this. Or not forward. Hindsight this for a very long time. Let's go on a smaller time frame and then pack it up. Alright. We're looking for shorts, right? Alright. If you follow the time frame, or not the time frame, if you follow the structure, this is a large, this boom, boom, boom. Structure is large. So you'd expect, alright, I run this high, I get the stronger low. But inside this structure, you have other structures. This is, alright, here and here. And then let's say we're going down, right? You run this low. This is a weak, strong wick here. You see, I tell you how the strong wick run it, but this high got run. Just like this wick strong. Alright, cool. We're on this one here. This high got ran. And then you need the zone, right? So it get run. You gotta wait till you get to the damn zone. Don't just, it run and drop. Right? Boom. Smaller zones get killed. Like, for example, this one here. This one here. That's a zone. And inside the larger zone, you got this. Well, this zone probably from, sorry. Trailer high down lows. This zone is probably from here down to here. So you have all kind of smaller zones that don't belong. That's not a part. Just know that when they get clipped, that's where you get all these dips from. You see? Just get clipped. You get the dip. But you get the most power when it's at the high, which eventually gonna get clipped. And then, as I said before, sometimes two highs get clipped, especially when you're bullish. So two highs get clipped, and then you see this. This is a nice short coming down. Cause this high get clipped. Man, it sound like somebody get locked out of them house, man. Cause this is banging on the door like a mug. Woman lock him out to rotted. She do it again. She beat him. All right. Me used to think of furniture them I make, but it sound like the man I beat down the door. Um, See this. Now look, this high didn't put in a new low, so it's a part. Some structure. It's not a part of. So you should wait ideally until you know. Damn it, boy! This high get clipped. Yeah, see. Even though that it still took a long time, but if you're just inside the time frame, man. If you're just inside the time frame and look, just mark out structure. You said this low ain't finna take nobody. It's gonna get killed, but you can look at this one and see that alright, these little guys ain't nothing. Wow. You get a little push. I wouldn't take this trade. Fuck no. But yeah, this got taken here. This we not uptrend. That's why we not uptrend. We not uptrend. All right, let's look at this again. Oh, you always have to make sure you're at the top of the range still. But the 1 minute is I wouldn't depend on the candles on the 1 minute to do my mapping. You can use a 15 minute. If you notice, the higher time frame candle is more like give more shit outside. So, like for example, you see this. This is a larger structure that All right, the 1 minute, yeah, you can play around in here, but you're at the bottom of the range. Right, this high didn't put in the low. It got killed. The zone above, you get your short. You see what more on the higher time frame, it's more dependable, and you just use this for your daily forecasting. Right? Yeah, it's not always gonna work, especially because this high itself didn't put in a low also. So you know that okay, this is gonna get killed, and there's the bigger boy over here. That has a stronger, but this high didn't put in a low compared to the larger time frame, so you get killed too. So this, I hope you guys get it, man. I'm out. Peace.